Hi everyone, this is Korosh Erfani, and today is Tuesday, February 19, 2026. The war is coming and we are going to talk about. So, the possibility of war being triggered between Iran and the United States and Israel, of course, is serious, and that's why there are some points that I would like to unfold regarding this subject. First, it won't be any limited war. We don't have such a thing in this case. That would be either a total war or no war at all. So we should be clear about that. So the second point is that Iran can obtain a victory in this war much easier than the United States or even Israel. The reason is that if the United States wants to announce officially that it had been victorious in this war, it would need to obliterate, as Mr. Trump says, completely obliterate not only the nuclear facilities, but the whole thing, the whole country, I can say, regime, infrastructures, military capacities, missiles, nuclear, and so on and so on. So we are talking about months and months of war. Iran doesn't need that. In order to be victorious in this war, Iran just needs to have some positive points that can be obtained almost easily. Let's see. First, imagine what Iran needs. First is to completely close the Strait of Hormuz, and in this way disturb completely the oil market globally. And from that moment, in the United States, we are going to have a high price, really unprecedented price for gas. And that would be almost fatal for Trump administration. That's the reality. Because the American economy is right now almost on the brink of a new crisis we are going toward. But this war can push and accelerate, falling in this crisis situation for the American economy. The price that could be very high also politically, because imagine with I don't know, few dozen or few hundreds of soldiers killed on the region, and with the body bags coming here, that would be disastrous for Trump administration, and essentially because on the other fields also we don't have any good record for the current administration. So that's why waging a war that will bring about a human cost for the United States will be extremely critical for the current situation of the Trump administration. So we shouldn't forget that. And on the other hand, we should know that Iran cannot really bear all these sanctions that are right now in place, and also most probably the new sanctions that are coming, because the Iranian economy is literally dead, right? And the regime knows that if there is no war, there would be the death with, an agonizing economy, and there would be the disturbance in anything inside, socially, economically, politically, and therefore Iran must find a solution for putting an end to these sanctions. The solution cannot be pacific. We know that. Not because the United States doesn't want that, because Israel doesn't want it. And we know that the United States is there for Israel. The war is the Israeli war. It's not for the United States. I am going to explain why it's not at all in the interest of the United States to wage this war. So the Iranian regime knows that only and only through the war it can get rid of these sanctions and this catastrophic economic situation. So that's why the war is a solution for the Iranian regime. It's not something that is going to be imposed totally, because what is imposed and is very effective is sanctions, right? And we cannot imagine that the same effect by war, because Iran knows that if it can hit the Americans seriously, there would be a change in the situation. And the change means, less sanctions and most probably much more serious negotiation with the United States and with the Western countries. And from that moment, it would be possible to, remove these sanctions. But otherwise, we know that the Iranian regime, in a no war, no negotiations, cannot really keep going, right? On the other hand, don't forget that Israel cannot really keep up with the current situation. Israel is a lost cause. The Zionism is a lost cause. They know that. They are taking awareness about that. And even though they are showing that we are very powerful, we are very self-confident, and we must get all the Gaza, the West Bank, doing this and that. But generally, Israel knows that it had lost the game of 80 years of deception, regarding everything. 80 years of lies, deception, manipulation, propaganda, everything is lost. And the Zionists know that they cannot recover that, right? It's impossible to recover the image of before October 7, 2023 for Israel. It's impossible. It's unimaginable. So that's why Israel says that, okay, now that we are lost, let's the world lose everything. That's the idea of the Samson plan, right? The Samson option, as they said. And right now, before war, they are imposing this Samson plan in a very limited area, just in the West Bank, in Gaza, in Lebanon. But once the war with Iran starts, you will see that the suicidal attitude of Israel will be a huge risk for the global situation. That would be a global threat for the whole humanity, because the impression that we have lost the game and the world will continue without Israel. Can you imagine that? Can a Zionist imagine the world without Israel? The world without Zionism? They cannot imagine that. So they said that the world without Zionism means not at all anything, not world at all. So we will destroy you. We will use all our nuclear warheads so that the world doesn't exist. We know that, right? We know how psychopath and insane they are. So some people are talking about the possibility of avoiding war, which is a good idea, which is a very positive idea, effectively, but impossible idea. Such a thing is impossible. Why? Because usually we use diplomacy, to avoid war. But as you can see right now, the diplomacy is a way to prepare war, which means negotiation for just having time of military preparation, right? So if diplomacy becomes a tool for, preparation of war, it doesn't mean diplomacy. It doesn't mean at all anything. So that's why we don't have diplomacy anymore. At least for this case, there is no diplomacy. And what they are doing, both sides, are just playing with this card of negotiations in order to have more time, in order to be more, in a higher readiness for the war. And let me add this point. Usually the war can be avoided if at least one side of the both sides is willing so, right? Is wishful to avoid war. But it's not the case. Because this war is between Iranian regime, which is a almost dying regime with the agonizing economy, with a society that is completely, against the Iranian regime, with no future. So that's why without war, the Iranian regime doesn't have any future. And the same thing is correct also, is relevant for the Israeli regime. Because in the middle, you have the United States, right? But the United States is not really here to wage war. Why? Because this war doesn't have any interest for the United States, as I told you. It doesn't have any economic interest. That would be a war that's not that hasn't been authorized by Congress according to the American Constitution, right? On the other hand, the American people are not supporting this war. The regional allies of the United States are not supporting, are not wishing this war, right? The Arab countries, for example. The war is not compatible at all with the international law. The most important point is that nobody knows once started how this war will end, right? So for all these reasons, I think even a completely lost and insane president like Trump doesn't really desire waging a war. This is a war for Israel, by Israel, and controlled and desired by Israel. So the Iranian regime wants war for the survival. Israel wants that for the same reason. That's why there is no any side of these both sides that wants to avoid war. Even though they are talking about that we don't want war, we want peace, we want negotiation, and so on, we must have a deeper view on what is going on. So that's why I think the war is surely coming. We are going to have war. It's a matter of time only. And in order to better understand what is going on is very simple. If I want to summarize what I said, the war became a solution. Usually there is a solution for war, but now we are talking about the war that is itself the only option, the only solution. So that's why we are certainly going to have that. The United States will be involved and will pay the highest cost of this war. Can you imagine that the war is between the two almost falling regime, and the Zionist regime and the Iranian regime, but the bill will be for the United States to pay, right? And that would be the beginning of the chain of events in the United States that will bring about most probably the impeachment of President Trump and the end of the Trump presidency, because we know that the economic consequences will be disastrous, the social ones, the political ones, and almost everything. Everything is bad. The only reason is because Trump doesn't have any choice because of Epstein file, because of the dominance of the Zionist over his administration, and that's why he is entering a war that is not an American one, is not in the interest of the United States, and is only and only to sacrifice the United States for Israel. And don't forget that the first element that will be sacrificed in this war of the United States for Israel is, of course, thousands and thousands of American young people, American soldiers, but the main victim will be the Trump presidency. This is my prediction, and most probably, in order to avoid it, President Trump will try to expand conflict, and that's why I always said in my videos that there is a possibility of transforming this regional war into a global war. That's why I said that it's a strong possibility for having the Third World War through this military adventurism of Israel through the United States. This is what also Sergei Lavrov said today, that any military conflict in the Middle East will have the consequences beyond this region. And that's the idea. I am pretty sure about that, because once Trump is on the edge of, losing his presidency by impeachment or whatsoever, certainly he will trigger a much bigger military conflict, either with the Turkey for again for Israel, either with Pakistan or something. And from that moment, we are completely engaged and involved in a global conflict. So that's why we have to monitor that. Please know that if the war starts in 24 hours, 48 hours, or whatsoever, I am going to have more videos, or maybe daily videos, or even more if necessary, in order to talk about what's going on and the different probabilities that we are going to have. Thank you very much for watching this video.